Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a Q&A to celebrate hitting 50,000 subscribers on here. I cannot believe that I've reached that number. Thank you so much to everybody who is following me or has followed me. I've been on Booktube for 6 years now. I really started consistently booktubing in 2015, so it's been a while, but I'm so excited that a lot of you are here and just want to spread our love of romance, and so I figured I would do a Q&A. It's been years since I've done a Q&A, and so if you watch a lot of my videos, you probably know some of these things about me already. I also post about a lot of these things on my Instagram. If you're not following me there, go ahead and follow. I'm going to start with my questions from Instagram. I put a story up and asked questions people had for me they wanted me to answer in one, and then I also put it on my community page, so I'll go to that one second. Hopefully I'm going to try to keep this to like 20 minutes, but I'm going to start with just talking about me first before I get into any questions. My name is Jessica. I do live in Ohio. I am 27, turning 28 on August 1st, so I'm basically 28. I have a twin sister, I have an older brother, and I live with my twin sister, and I am a teacher. I have been teaching English for 6 years now. I'm about to start my 7th year teaching high school English. I teach primarily 9th and 10th graders. I do 10th honors English, then I do yearbook, and then I do guided reading, which is helping struggling readers. They're typically reading like 5th, 6th grade reading level, and it's a reading remediation class, so I love my job. I have 2 dogs, Lily and Darcy. Darcy I got first in 2015, and then Lily we got in 2017. Darcy's named after Mr. Darcy, and Lily is named after Lily from It Ends With Us / from the Addicted series by Kristen Becker Ritchie / my sister liked the name, and it was technically her time to name the dog. So I think that's about everything I wanted to establish before starting. Alright, let's get into the questions. So the first 2 actually have to do with my teaching, my job. So the first one is favorite book to read with your students. I'm lucky enough to teach World Lit, so we read a lot of different things, and some I don't like, some I do like. And I love reading Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe with them. That is definitely one of my favorites to read, but also Dorian Gray. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I love teaching that book to my kids, and it's definitely the hardest one for them to read because it is the not as straightforward writing, and it takes a bit of time for us to get through it, but I love that book as well. How is my master's going? I actually finished my master's, so I talked about it all the time last year. I started in January of 2020, which is probably the perfect time for me to start it because I was working from home from March to May, and then I had summer break, and so I was able to focus a lot on my master's during that time, and so I did finish in March of this year. So it was about a 1.5-year program, and I'm done. So I'm very excited to be done. I officially have my master's of education in literacy, so teaching reading. I'm just gonna go in order. They're not gonna be like in different groups of topics. So next one is, how do you read so many books? I read a lot, and my reading has at least doubled in the past 2 years because of audiobooks. I even was looking at my reading for just this week, and I've listened to 3 audiobooks in a row before I finish a physical book. My physical book reading is really slow. I typically read a book in like 3 days, which is slow to me, and the last book I just read took me 4 days to read because it was over 400 pages, and I read 3 audiobooks in that time. It takes me about a 1.5 days to read an audiobook during the summer, and it takes me like 2 to 3 days in the school year to read an audiobook. I do have a 35-minute commute to school, 35-minute commute home, and then I usually work out after school, and that's another at least 30 minutes of listening to my audiobook, and I listen to it on 3 times speed, so I get a lot of my reading done through audiobooks, but I'd never read audiobooks really until about 2 years ago, and it's changed my reading game. And I also don't watch too much TV. My sister and I will watch a show every now and then at night. Like, we love Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Below Deck, and we're like, that's all we watch right now. We were watching Loki too, and like that's the only TV on. We love Grey's Anatomy, 911, those kind of shows, but they're not on right now. And so if we don't have a show to watch, we just like read instead of watch TV. So that's how I read a lot. I did have a question about my parents. They do watch my YouTube channel. I love my parents. I'm super close with them. I see them all the time. I just went on vacation with my parents, and so they're probably gonna watch this. I know my mom's gonna watch this, so hi Mom. Would you ever get a tattoo? And I've thought about it, but I don't know what it'll be about. Like, what do I love enough that I want on my body forever? I don't know. I don't know, but I was like, oh, it'd be fun. I think like a wrist tattoo is really cute, but like, what would I get? I have no idea. So, but like I said, it's probably not gonna happen. So I got a couple questions. What is your dating romantic life right now? I'm single and I'm thriving. So I'm content where my life is right now. And I mean, if it happens, it happens. I dabble in dating apps sometimes, but if you've been on those, you know how tragic that is. So yeah, that's what it is. I'm single and I'm fine with it. Are there any YouTubers outside of Booktube that you watch? I used to be super into beauty YouTube probably about 5 years ago, but that's completely changed. Like, I loved watching people do their makeup, but like nobody does that anymore really. And so I used to be a huge fan of like Kathleen Lights, and I would watch Jaclyn Hill. Don't like her anymore. And who else would I watch? I don't even remember who else that I like to watch. I have been watching Smoky Glow. She does a lot of beauty videos, but she also does a lot of talking about influencers, and I think that's fascinating. So I love her channel too. But that's really all that I watch that that's not Booktube. I think the only one I'm actually currently subscribed to is Smoky Glow too, so not really. I just watch Booktube. Someone did ask, taking books from your students, does that mean there's a bookshelf in your classroom? I have like 6 bookshelves cases in my classroom. I have a ton. Our school sadly got rid of our library. There was this big push for a innovation center with a lot of STEM and tech and like makerspace stuff, and so they're like, no one's been coming to our library. They're like, we don't need it anymore, and so they spread out all the books through all the English teachers. We have a reading room now though that we're slowly building up for kids to be able to go to, and really like I am part of the library in my classroom. Tons of it are my own books, tons of it are books that I got from publishers that I've been putting in there because I've been blogging since 2011, so I've gotten a lot of books from publishers that are YA, so I do have a ton of books in my classroom, but I'm constantly trying to build it up too because I need more, because there's just so many more good books coming out. Someone said, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? What genre? I've always wanted to be a writer, but as an adult, that's like not really something I want to do anymore. So I obviously would write romance, and it'd be an adult romance, but I've realized like it's like they always say like, oh, write the book you want to read, and I'm like, but there's so many I want to read, I don't need to write it. So I feel like I'm just wasting my time writing a book, and I feel like I'd give nothing original. Like, there's so many authors who have such good books with such good characters and such good storylines and so engaging and imaginative, and I'm just like, I mean, I write well. I've always been a writer, and I minored in professional writing in college, and I have always done well in English, but like, I just feel like I'm not needed in the writing community. There's everything there for me. So it would be a romance if I were to write something myself, but I'm just like, I don't need to. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm super into running and working out. So I run every morning. I get up around 6:15, go on a 3-mile run, then walk my dogs, and I love it. I love running. I started running in college. So my freshman year of college, I started running. So, oh my God, that's 10 years now because I graduated high school in 2011. So I've been running for about 10 years, and I used to be super into half marathons, and I've run 3, but I passed out in 2 of them. So I've like really dialed down on that because I run too fast when I get excited. So the question is, how do you stay motivated to work out / run every day? And the thing that pushes me the most now is audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks when I run. When I would run at the gym before COVID, I would bring my iPad and run reading on my iPad, but I stopped going to the gym when COVID happened, and I never renewed my membership, so I just run outside, which I used to do, and I listen to audiobooks, and I love it. Even when I'm doing some sort of like leg or weight video in my basement, my sister loves Beachbody, so we have a Beachbody subscription. I listen to my audiobook, and I get really excited to listen to my audiobooks, so I'm like, oh, I gotta go run so I can figure out what happens next. So that, also I just love running, so I feel like I'm not a good person to ask what keeps me motivated, because I love running, because I love eating, and I know I need to stay in shape, so I run. So next one, is there ever a milestone on YouTube that would convince you to go full time? I know you love teaching, but curious. I think that being a full-time booktuber is terrifying because you don't know what your audience is gonna do, or it's just like it's out of your control, I feel like, and I like being in control. So I wouldn't know, like, if a video does bad, I feel like I would hate Booktube because I'm so focus on the numbers, because it'd be my livelihood. Like, oh, this video has to get this number of watches so I can get this amount of money because I'm supporting myself. Right now it's just a supplemental income, and it just like is nice so I can like pay for some things, but I don't know if I'd ever be full-time, because I also have my insurance that I have through my job, which is huge in the US. I wouldn't have that if I was doing YouTube full-time. And I, like I said, just got my master's, so I got a really good pay raise at my job. So I'd have to get a lot more subscribers to even come close to making what I make at my day job. So I don't know. And then I don't know what the future of Booktube is going to look like, so I don't know if I would be able to put all my eggs in a basket that I'm not certain about. So no, I don't think there's a milestone, and I don't think I'd ever make it to the number where I could support myself. I don't think I'd ever get to 200,000 or something. I feel like I that's so far away. Like, would I ever? It's taken me, what, 6 years to get to 50? So I don't think I could even do that. The next one is, what are your channel goals? And I feel like I was really excited to reach 50,000, and now I feel like Riley from Riley Maria, she's like, I'm just good, and I feel like I'm good. Like, I like where I'm at, and like I'm excited to continue growing, but I don't like thinking about like 100,000 terrifies me. Like, I was so motivated to get to 50K, and now that I've reached this, and I'm so excited that I've reached this, I'm just like, I don't know if I want that much responsibility, because the bigger I grow, the more people watch, and the more things can happen where people watch you and they don't like you. There was a while, a couple months ago, maybe it was a month ago, where I just kept on getting like mean comments every day, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? And you get that more and more the more you grow. I don't know. I'm just happy making my videos and talking about romance with everybody. Okay, some of these are like putting me on the spot, so some I'm gonna skip because I have no idea what I would answer. Someone said, how do you balance everything, work, school, YouTube? I've always been someone who wants to be doing something, and so I love being busy with things that I enjoy. So I love being busy at home with my dogs with things that I enjoy. So I love reading, I love editing videos, I love filming videos, I love thinking of video ideas, and it's just like my me time. So like some people are like, oh, I want to sit and binge Netflix. That's their me time. My me time is working on something I love. And so I also have my Etsy shop where I sell book sleeves, and I love that too because I also listen to audiobooks while I sew. I listen to audiobooks all the time, and so it's just things that I love, and that's how I balance it. You gotta find stuff you love. So if you love reading, then it shouldn't be something too hard to balance. But also I don't like have kids, and I don't have a significant other. I just have my parents, and like I see them enough. So, and I have my sister, and I see her enough, so I don't need to like give too much of myself to other things. So that's how I balance things. I don't think that's really a fair answer since I don't have a lot of responsibilities outside of work in general. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about being a book content creator? My favorite thing is just like talking about books and getting so many recommendations from you guys. I'm doing a video right now of reading your recommendations, and it's been so fun, and I just love getting excited about books and talking just about what I love. It's the best thing about Booktube. Also, the friends I've made. I love just becoming friends with Booktubers because we all love the same thing, and it just feels organic. Like, I see a new channel, and then I comment on something, and then we're like friends on Instagram. So I love the friends and just talking about romance in general. My least favorite thing is probably people coming in who like don't even subscribe to me and like saying things that aren't necessary. And I can't even like think of what the mean things are off the top of my head, or people just getting mad at little insignificant details in videos that I'm like, I'm sorry I said like this thing wrong. And maybe it's because it's online that it comes off more mean than they intend, but my least favorite thing is dealing with those things. And like I said, I know it gets worse the bigger you grow. So, and I know at the beginning of the year I said my goal was 60,000 this year, and the rate my channel's going, it could or could not happen depending on what videos get traction, because my video where I touch her and like I'll kill you video got almost 90,000 views, and my subscriber count like blew up during those 2 months since that happened, and now it's gone back down. So if that happens again, I could definitely reach 60,000. Voyeur, I don't even remember what I was saying. My least favorite thing about Booktube is just like people coming in and judging and getting angry about things and judging me based on some things that don't make sense. I don't want to go into it, but like there will be people judging me as a teacher, and I'm like, you've never come into my classroom and seen me interact with kids, yet you're judging that based on something I said in a video about a book or about content in books or content on Booktube. So yeah, you can't control what people think or say, so that's my least favorite thing about Booktube. Someone said I'm just sitting here waiting to hear what you thought about Neon Gods. I gave it 3.5 stars. I loved the romance, but the plot was really lacking for me. So Hades, I loved him. How much he loved Persephone and just like wanted her to be happy, loved it. The whole thing with Zeus, I was very underwhelmed by. So 3.5 stars for that one. Will you share a bookshelf tour? I'm super curious. I can. I should before summer's over. I'm doing a reading camp every day for half the day, but I have a full week after that, and then I have work days, and then it's school. So I feel like I have no time in summer left, but maybe I will film one. Maybe. Favorite historical romance hero? I'd probably go with Ian from The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. I love him so much. I don't know. I always like blank whenever someone asks me like favorite blah 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 for romances. All my historicals are over here. I really did like Cam from Mine Till Midnight. That one was really good too. I liked him. What do you do when you have a book hangover? I just move on to the next book. I am a mood reader and I rarely get in reading slumps. It's just like if a book is like slow, it'll take me a while to read it, but then I just move on to the next book. So I try to get something I'm excited for, like a genre I'm excited for. So for a while I was reading all mafia romances, and then now I've been really into sports romances because of the Olympics. So whatever I'm in the mood for, I just let myself read it. And that's that, because at the beginning of the year I was super into historicals and my views were down, like people really didn't care, and I just felt that was when I was feeling stressed out about my channel and like, oh my gosh, I'm not making content anybody wants. But now I'm just like, I read whatever I want. I don't care, because it's gonna make reading not fun anymore. But now I'm back into reading sports romances and dark romances. How does your work feel about your book stuff? All my coworkers know about it. All of them follow my Instagram, so they definitely know about it, but my admin knows about it and they don't care. My kids know about it. They don't care. Like, I talk about romance books. They literally don't even watch my videos. I'm pretty sure. Nobody's ever come up and said like they watch my channel. They were most excited about my TikTok, but again, I just talk about books, and so they're fine with it. I don't think anybody really watches it. They all know about it. I didn't tell anybody about it, but then they figured it out because high schoolers can Google a lot and find anything. So about 2 or 3 years in, they found my channel, and I'm like, okay, I talk about books, so enjoy the content. And I keep my channel PG-13. I don't swear. I don't talk about like explicit stuff, so they're fine with it so far. So we'll hope that continues, because it's been 6 years now. So who do you think reads the most out of your whole family? I do, but my whole family reads. My sister reads. She reads less. I think she reads like maybe 60 books a year, and then my mom is a huge reader too, and then my dad actually works at a library now, so he has been reading a lot more as well, but I read the most. Oh, and then there's my brother. I don't know if he reads anymore. I don't know. What are some of your hobbies other than reading? I love to run and work out. I also am very crafty, so I've tried to get back into knitting. I was into knitting and crocheting a lot when I was in college, but I kind of fell off when I got out of college and like got a little busier. But I started a new project this summer that I get out when like we watch TV and stuff, so that means it hasn't gotten that far. But I do love crafting. I love sewing. I do have my Etsy shop where I sew things. I do love concerts, so I haven't been to one in a long time, but my sister and I try to go at least one concert a year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but concerts are expensive. So I've always seen the Jonas Brothers and Ed Sheeran when they have a concert. We got to see Taylor Swift together. Jesse McCartney, if he ever has a concert, we go together. So I don't listen to too much music, but I do have my like staple favorites of people that I love. And those are really all my hobbies. I'm a fun person. How did you fall in love with reading? I've always been a reader. My mom was always a reader, and so I remember we would always just go to the library together, and I have vivid memories of going to the library. I just have always been a reader. I've loved it, and that's it. I did fall in love with romance in middle school, reading a lot of like those Simon Pulse romantic comedies. I was fortunate enough to have a really good library, and they got new YA books in all the time, and loving YA romances like 8th grade going into high school, and then discovering adult romances while I was in high school. So I've always loved reading. That's how I fell in love with it. Do you remember how you found Booktube? I do not have any idea. I think it was through blogging. Like I was a blogger in 2011, that's when I started, and this one blog started doing their In My Mailbox, which was like basically a book haul every week you would do on Sundays, and she started posting videos on her blog of her In My Mailbox, and then I think that led me to Booktube in like 2013, 2014, because I did a couple videos while I was in college. I remember vividly in sophomore year of college, which was 2012, I recorded a video in my dorm room for my blog, and then senior year, I know I filmed a couple in my apartment on campus for my YouTube channel, but then I really started filming and joining in 2015 when I graduated. Where do you see your reading taste going in 10 years? I don't think my reading is going to change that much in 10 years. If you could sit down with 3 favorite authors to chat, who would they be? I don't know. I love Colleen Hoover, and I think that she's just hilarious in person, so I would love to get to sit down and talk to her. Who else would I want to be able to talk to? I don't know. It would have been really cool to talk to Joanna Lindsay before she passed away, because she is an icon, and just talking about what it was like writing and just being a staple in the 80s and 90s romance world, that would be really cool. And I don't know, I have some favorites that I would really love to talk to. I am going to be able to meet Gianna Darling in February at a signing, and she's one of my all-time favorite authors, so that's really exciting to just see her and talk to her. J.R. Ward would be a hoot to sit down and talk with one-on-one. She is so funny in her talks. I've gotten to meet her a couple times. I've gotten to go to a couple like events that she hosts, and she like does a panel. She's hilarious, so she'd be fun to talk to. What's the book that made you realize you are a romance reader? I think that like I said, the Simon Pulse romantic comedies, they're all up there. And like the illustrated mass markets that Harper Teen would put out, I think I see Avon. So like Catherine Clark, I have a ton of her books up there. Emma Harrison, Rachel Hawthorne. Rachel Hawthorne's books I really loved. They were so good, and I was obsessed with those, and I would just look through my library and get anyone I wanted to. I was reading Sarah Dessen and Simone Elkeles with her Perfect Chemistry series, so yeah. I fell in love with romance through all of those books. Favorite food or treat? I love candy. I love Swedish Fish. I love these Airhead candies. They're not like the hard circle candies. They're like the like square candies with like filling inside that like they don't sell anymore in stores. My sister had to buy them on Amazon with like a 10-pack of them because we wanted them. I love licorice. I love chocolate. Reese's. Milky Ways are my favorite. And I'm obsessed with Diet Coke. So which book series should be made into a TV series? I'm very excited that they're giving the Vampire Academy books another shot, because those are amazing and they flopped twice. So that's really exciting. I think the Off-Campus series would be really fun as a TV show. Or the Royal series by Aaron Watt, that would be fun. Or the Blackjacker Brotherhood, but I don't know how they would make that into a series, because each character gets a different book, so I don't know. That would be really fun though, to see the Blackjacker Brotherhood series into something. Someone asked how I got my dogs. I already talked about Lily and Darcy. We got them from a shelter, so we really wanted to get a dog when we moved into our apartment in 2015, my sister and I, and so we were just like looking online at dogs and found a beagle. We wanted a beagle. I've always wanted a beagle. I grew up with yellow labs, but I always wanted a beagle. We looked online and found one that was cute and asked them, and they said, well, he's kind of too like excited to be in an apartment, but here's this dog. And it was Darcy. Her name was Rachel, and they took her out, and she like immediately bolted into this hole in the fence to get with these other dogs and was like running around like crazy, and we're like, okay, we'll take her. She's definitely not crazy anymore. She was crazy for about a year after we got her. She was a year and a half when we did get her. We love her. And then we got Lily. My parents actually saw her at a PetSmart because they had gotten their dog Gigi right after we got Darcy. Rosie was our dog growing up. We had Buckeye growing up. Go Bucks. And then we had Rosie, and Rosie was getting old, so they got Gigi after we got Darcy, and then they were at a PetSmart and saw Lily, and they were like, this is the perfect dog. And so they told us, you have to come see this dog, and we did, and we got her that February. And then that summer, I believe, they got Eva, which is their second dog. Rosie passed away a couple years after having Gigi, so once they had one dog, they wanted two, because we've always had two dogs, so it was always like, we got a dog, my parents got a dog, we got a dog, my parents got a dog. So we are very tempted to get another one, but we don't need another one. They're expensive themselves as it is, so, and we're happy with all of them. And all four of our dogs get along so well. Like Gigi and Lily are BFFs. They love each other. Someone did ask, do you need special certification after a bachelor's to teach? It is actually the degree in itself. My degree is a secondary English language arts education, so it was my degree was education. Some people do English as their bachelor's and then they'll get their master's in education, and then you're allowed to teach too, but I just did my bachelor's and got it as a degree in itself. And you can do, for secondary, you can do each subject, and then middle school is 2 subjects, I believe, so you can do like math and science or math and English, and then you're licensed to teach 2 subjects at the middle school level. Technically, I'm licensed to teach 7 through 12, but I would never do 7 and 8, so just, that's your bachelor's, and then you're able to teach. You gotta take some tests, you have to do student teaching, and then you can teach. What is your and your sister's height? I do, like I said, did I say she was my twin? She's my twin sister, and she is 5'1", and I'm 5'4", so she is shorter than me, but she is older than me. How do you feel knowing your channel reaches other countries? I'm from Brazil and love watching. I think it's so cool. So I'm a huge women's soccer fan, and like US women's national team, and whenever I post, I always get someone from Instagram saying that they're from the country they're playing, and I think it's really, really cool that I get to connect with people from all over the world. So hello everybody. If you're not from the US, let me know where you're from in the comments. I'd love to know where you're from. Do you watch K-dramas? No, but that is something that I am interested in watching. So I'll probably ask some friends what I should start with. Do you find it strange talking into a camera? Do you ever get nervous? No, but I realize I look around too much. I never focus on like the lens because I'm like looking at a black circle. I always just like end up looking around and I have so much to look at. I need to focus more on looking in the actual camera, but no, I've been doing this for 6 years, so I'm not nervous or weirded out by talking to a camera. If you had to read one author for the rest of your life, who would it be? I don't know. I'd have to choose someone, maybe, and this is gonna be weird because I'd want to choose someone who writes different genres. And I know Jennifer Armentrout. She's not my all-time favorite author, but she writes contemporary and fantasy, and she writes like 4 books a year. So I would be set for life if I could only read her books the rest of my life because she has such a big backlist and she writes so much new content that she would be really great to read for the rest of my life if I could only read her books. What's your favorite historical romance? I actually have an entire video dedicated to my top favorite ever historical romances. I do love The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie by Jennifer Ashley, The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. What else do I like? I don't remember what else I love. There's more. I do like If the Duke Demands by Anna Harrington. I do love The Duchess War by Courtney Milan. And go check out that video. What are your favorite tropes? I do love a good enemies to lovers. We all love a hate to love. I love friends to lovers, gets really cute too. Give me angsty romances. I know that's not a trope, but like the angstier, the better for me. I love mafia romance, which is also kind of a subgenre anyways. But yeah, if it's forbidden too, I really love that as well. Like that adds to the angst, so that's definitely a favorite trope of mine. Oh, someone asked me how many piercings I have because I just posted on Instagram. I did get my 3rd piercing for my birthday. My sister ended up treating us to getting her ears pierced again. I've always had the double, and then I have the 3, and then I have the 1 up here. So technically I have 7 because I have 3 and then 1 more here. And I'm really excited I got the 3rd one. What's your number 1 favorite book so far of 2021? I have a whole video of my favorite books I've read so far this year. And one of them is definitely Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. I cannot stop talking about that book. I love it so much. Inked in Lies by Gianna Darling is also up there. That one was phenomenal. I love that one. Any bucket list items you want to accomplish? For me, the bucket list items I have relate to traveling. I love traveling. My sister and I went to Europe and got to go to Scotland. Goal of mine that was accomplished. I loved Scotland so much. It's one of my favorite places like ever. And we went on an Outlander tour and it was amazing. So I'd love to go to Paris, and I might be going to France in March with my school. The French class is going and asked if any other teachers wanted to join. And I was like, yes, please. So I may be going that, probably. And I've always wanted to go to Italy. And it's a dream of me and my sister. The next World Cup is in Australia for the women's. And it would be over our 30th birthday. And we've joked about going. I don't know if we will. We probably won't, but like, goal of mine is to see the Women's World Cup in person and go to Australia. That would be amazing. So that would be really cool, but it probably won't happen. But it would be really cool. We did get to actually see the US women's team play when they came to Columbus, and that was a lot of fun, but it's not like a high intensity crazy game. So those are some goals of mine. And really, like, professionally, I've reached my peak. I don't know like why that sounds weird, but I don't want to go into admin. I don't know if I want to leave the classroom. Maybe I could do something with curriculum with the school, but dealing with adults at work is not fun to me. So I would just love to stay where I am in the classroom, and I've gotten my master's, so it'd be fun to be department head, but I love my department head and she does a great job. That would be like the extent of what I would want to do at my job. I'm just happy where I am. So professionally, I'm where I'm at, and my professional goal was to get my master's, so that happened. So yeah, this is going on way longer than I wanted it to. Let me go to my community page and just choose a couple more from there, and then we'll be done. What authors would you automatically buy their books knowing you would love them without even knowing what they are about? Definitely Gianna Darling. I just read everything she writes and I love it. Colleen Hoover, I'll read anything that she writes. Is there anybody that I read like every single book they release? Oh, of course, Penelope Douglas. I will read anything that woman writes. And Elle Kennedy. I think those are the 4 that literally anything they release, I'm gonna pick up. So even though it took me a while to catch up on Gianna's books because I was behind on that series, but every other author, I will pre-order the book and get it. Do you talk to your friends and family about your channel? Yes. My mom watches my live shows too, so yes, and she reads romance too, so my dad reads some romance as well. How do I decide what to read next? A lot of times it's, like, my TBR is massive, so if I see someone read it and really enjoyed it, I'm probably influenced to read it, especially if like Lisa or Lacey from Remarkably Lisa and Lacey Book Lovers, read it and loved it, I'm more likely to like pick it up next. Or if like it's going super popular, like Nikki Sloan's books are super popular, so I definitely want to read one of her books next, like The Doctor and The Pool Boy. Definitely want to pick those up next. If it's a new release that I really need to get to, I'll pick that up as well. Would you consider filming a day in the life? My life is so boring, and I'm not someone who films like fun aesthetic shots, and I feel like that's what makes a day in the life video good. So probably not. Maybe one day, maybe like in a daily vlog. I don't know. My life's not that interesting. I wake up, run, walk my dogs, do stuff if I need to get it done, like edit videos or sew or take pictures or read in the morning, and then do more of that in the afternoon. Go to my parents' house every Sunday for dinner and that's it. Hang with my puppies, I love them. But if I'm working, obviously I go to work every day. Someone said, is it ever difficult to decide what to read next? Usually not. I usually have so much that I need to read that it's hard not reading more than what I want to read, so usually not. Tropes I hate, surprise pregnancy. I really hate that trope. I'm not a huge fan of like the billionaire millionaire trope anymore, unless it's historical, then I love it, but I'm not really into it as contemporary. And I've just been really not liking traditionally published books lately, which isn't a trope, but like they're so watered down romance, I feel like, that I just don't care. So watered down romance is something I really don't like either. Oh, what do I love most about reading romance? I don't know. The drama, the angst. I just love angst. I love it when there's other things happening too in the books, and just like escaping from real life and reading things that would never happen to me. Like mafia romances are so much fun. I love action movies too, like 80s action movies. I grew up on those and I love them, so I love my books to be like that too. So I just love a lot happening in my books. But that's been a lot. A lot of you guys had more questions about like my reading than my personal life, because I'm not that interesting of a person. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you have any other questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them in the comments down below. If I missed your question, sorry. This is already way longer than I wanted to be, but that's all I have. Again, thank you so much for 50,000 subscribers. I love all of you so much. Thank you for following. Thank you for talking books with me, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.